Hello everybody and welcome to this week's live mapping session. I'm Ralph Sherman of Profanity Software, and today I want to show you how to do a quick little map with one of our Cartographer's annual styles, and specifically one from last year, Per Lindström's Renaissance City style. I hope we've got everybody comfortable and coming in here. Got a few people watching already. So if you have any questions during the stream, please go ahead and post them as comments here on YouTube. And Sue will make sure that I see all the questions. I can answer them during the mapping session. I'll take a break occasionally and take a look at what questions have been asked and see what I can answer. Alright, so today I'm going to skip a bit the explanation of all the interface, of all the stuff, assuming that you know most of that, but I'll be explaining a little bit during my mapping, so I'll make sure that everybody gets to see what I'm using and doing while I'm working. Okay, so we've going to be looking at a city style, but this specific city style does not really make much use of the City Designer 3 features, because it's a more illustrative style, replicating old front-on city and town views as they were common in Renaissance time city illustrations. So a little bit more for an illustration than a map. And but we can create nice little city maps with this in a very short time. You can see a little example already on screen, and I'm going to be recreating this while I go along here. As usual, I'll start out by creating a new map. For that, I go up to our file toolbar where all the file operations are and click the new map button, which brings up the map types, and this will be in the cities map type. So I just click next. And here's our list of available styles from the City Designer add-on, from Source Map Cities, from Symbol Set 5, and up here all the different styles from the Cartographer's Annual. And this is the one we're going to be using here. This was published in last year's 2019 Annual, and you'll see that there's a metric style, a version of the style, and imperial style with feet as the units. So I'm going to stick with the feet version and just click next. And here's our page where we can set the size of the map. We can make this a little bit larger, smaller. I'm going to keep it at the default size for this map, since this works out quite nicely for a little town map, really. It's not a big city or anything, but we want to be able to create something finished in this one session, so we'll keep it small. And you can add stuff like the map title and a compass rose, scale bar at this point, but for this example I'll be doing that later at the end of the map, so I'm just gonna click finished here at some point. And we're gonna save the map, call it the city of Uleda, just on the top of my head, and save the map. And here's our example map. Sue is telling me that my volume may be a bit low. Let's have a look. Oh, I should be up to max like last week, so nothing much I can do here at the moment. Let's see whether I can up my volume and the settings a little bit more. microphone. No, I'm pretty much at max here at the moment, so I think I'll just have to speak up a little bit and be little bit louder, and perhaps move my microphone to a more favorable position. So I hope this is better now. Alright, here we are at our empty map session, and what I'm seeing here is that the resolution is a bit low. I'm seeing this is a bit blurry here in our background, and I'm going to show you a little trick how to turn off Campaign Cartographer's automatic resolution scaling, which can sometimes be a bit awkward or not quite what you want to see. And so I'm gonna see, here's the automatic bitmap quality, and high, medium and low. And if you want to sure to always see the maximum bitmap quality, you can set it to the fixed bitmap quality of very high. And if I do a refresh here, you can always see that the texture has become a bit clearer in the background. As you can see here, up here we've got the drawing tools for the map, and these are actually the tools for the overland style. That's because this, as I said, this city style doesn't really use the tools and features of City Designer and can just be used from the default set in Campaign Cartographer 3+. And that's why we're just going to stick with these settings here. And I can just start out by drawing a bit of a river or seacoast. And I'm seeing that I'm actually not selected the correct style in here. Something odd here, perhaps with my copy here, not set up quite correctly. So I'm going to first switch to the annual Renaissance city style. There it is in the list of styles. And there we have the correct set of tools for the Renaissance city style. And let's start out by drawing a bit of a lakeshore. I'm going to create a city on a lake here. Oh, and there I'm already misclicked and accidentally finished the command before I've really finished drawing my lakeshore. So let's redo this. Careful not to hit the right mouse button before I'm finished. And now I'm finished. Right mouse button. And there's my lakeshore. And then I want to draw a river. A fairly wide river with 30 feet here. Of course, the city is going to be at the important river mouth. Do a refresh. And here's my river. We can also add a little bit of a smaller one running into our main river here. There we go. Well, we draw this a little bit too far outside, so I'm just going to move this below the map border here. With the node edit command, this lets you move individual nodes of an entity around. See if you want to change the curve of the river here, you can use the node edit, click on the river somewhere, and then change the position of the node on the river, and as a result, changing the curve. Let's turn on the sheet effects tool so we can already see how the final coastline and river will look. For that, I'll click the sheet and effect indicator up here, activate the sheet effects, and then click OK. And you can see the default of the style, apply a dark outline on the water and a little bit of a dark glow inside the map border to give this a little bit more ancient weathered look. And now let's turn to the actual city itself. As you can see, we've got quite a selection of structure symbols here. The style uses a very nice, should I call it, a little bit hand-drawn looking whimsy style by Pear. He does these wonderful symbols in a variety of his styles. And we will start by creating the city wall around the city. And we've got wall symbols here for that. You see there's a little group of symbols behind that one indicated by the plus. If I click on the plus, it will show me that we've got wall versions of the wall symbol for horizontal, diagonal and vertical wall stretches. So we want to start out up here on the river. So I'm going to start with the vertical section. You can see it doesn't really have an end section there, but we can end this or put a proper end to the wall by adding a tower at the end. For that I'm going to expand the tower symbol here. This is looking nice, so we can just place the tower here, and we've got end to the wall here in here, and from there I'm going to continue with the diagonal version of wall. Let's zoom in a bit with the zoom functions up here on the right. Zoom window is always my go-to zoom option to move around the map. I usually, if I want to zoom somewhere, I first zoom out all the way and then take the zoom window option, define the window I want to see, and you can see I can continue working from here. So we've got this wall here, and I want to put in a gate here, and for that we've got the city gate symbol, and again this comes in 3 different versions: in the front on the horizontal version and diagonal version, and this one would be the vertical one. I basically only see the one tower, so I'm going to put in the diagonal version of the symbol here, and then I'm going to continue with the city wall. Sorry if my nose is a bit itchy today, or perhaps it's the cat that's been sitting on my lap shedding her fur. So I'm sorry if I keep scratching my nose here. So we've got the little stream here. This will probably be running under the city wall. Let's see whether we've got a nice symbol for that. Not really here, so we're just going to put a tower on top of that. And perhaps we can later create a little gate symbol to show the stream running under the tower there. And from there we're going to continue with a vertical section of wall, or north-south section actually. Again, let's put a tower here. You can also just switch between the different the wall directions with the tab key, because that cycles through the group of symbols. And then now I can I need a section of wall that runs north-west to southeast. And you see I don't have that in here. For that we just have the mirror option. I just right click, bringing up the symbol parameters, and then I click mirror and more, and see now my wall is running in the other direction. And to finish it off, a tower here at the river and another one on the other side. Let's continue a little bit southwards from here. Another tower symbol, and then we go straight. And now we need a big city gate again. Here. tower symbol. And now we want to go up again, so I'm gonna remirror the symbol. And I just saw a comment on YouTube that someone was mentioning that you should be able to sort the symbols in the map. And as you can see, that would be nice to have these overlapping correctly here. And I would just want to show you that Campaign Cartographer can do that. You just go to Symbols, Sort Symbols and Map, select everything, press D for Do It, and there's your symbol sorted correctly. Let's take a different tower again here, because well, we need to be sorting this again, because I'm just moving upwards now, basically placing these in the wrong order. And then when I'm finished doing these, I just go Sort Symbols and Map, all of them, do it. And there's my city outline. So that's how I usually start out defining a city, by actually placing the city wall. Because, of course, you might have buildings and city sections going outwards from the city wall, being outside the walls proper, but this will define at least your central section of the map. So we certainly want some kind of bridge over the river here. So let's see, we've got a bridge symbol here, different ones actually, north-south and east-west. So let's put a nice city bridge with towers at each end here. Then we certainly need a castle. We might add a little extra bit of wall or big tower here. Again, I'm gonna sort the symbols later. Go. Put a tower here. Mirror this section. And then I'm gonna put in a gate. Again, mirror this. Oop. Mirror. There we are. And the final tower. Actually, we probably need another section of the wall back here. And see whether our sorting can do this correctly, and there we are, looking good. Oh, actually the one tower might be a little bit further up. Not quite happy there yet. Just moved it a little bit too far. Again, actually I should just be refreshing the screen while placing it so I can see where I'm putting my stuff. And this is how I wanted it to look. There we are. Nice little castle on our lakeshore. Then we certainly need a kind of center with a temple or cathedral to the for the city. So this is a cathedral symbol, and actually could put this still behind it to make it a bit larger and impressive. Let's just sort that. That's looking good. A smaller church here somewhere. And I'm going to put in a public space with a fountain. And here a nice little statue. And we might want to already define our market square or public square here and have a look what tools we have. We do have a public space here, which we're just going to put this point. Cartographer will just draw across this here, but put it correctly in the background. If you refresh, you can see the texture for the stone public square is correctly in the background. Now we do need to create some city streets or with buildings along the sides, and for that we do have the different house symbols here, one with a horizontal or vertical alignment and one with a diagonal alignment. So we might want to have a diagonal street running from the gate here to the market square. For that I'm going to pick up the house. We already correctly mirrored it and just put these in here and add a couple vertical ones at the end, and then just some on the other side of the street. See how these create these house fronts. Okay, I'm whispering again. Sorry, I've got to double check my and I probably just start muttering when I'm working and concentrating on making a map, and it's got to concentrate and keep up my voice. So we've got this first road down here, and then I can just add a Whitestone road here from the city gates to the public square, nicely in the background. And here's our first street. So now we need something running from the square to the bridge. Set this back to normal, going in the other direction. And then I'm going to switch to the vertical version of the houses. This looks good here. Add a few of these and do a street again, and finally sort all the symbols. And that's looking good. Let's do the main roads through the city first, so we can do the smaller ones going from there. I can also, if I want to lay out the roads first, just draw my street first. Have one going down here to the south gate, and I'm going to use the on modifier to place this new road right on top of the previous one, and have one running here to the end of the city, right up to the wall. So yes, the sound settings is always a bit difficult. It's also different from person to person everywhere. Good. And let's continue placing some houses. Oops. Let's use the undo button to remove my one little misplaced house. Mirror this to go the other direction. You can see how they always randomly select one of the house symbols from the group, to making a nice varied street front. Let's keep a gap here for a little side street. And in maps like these, you would normally have much wider streets depicted than they were in real life, just because otherwise too many houses are obscuring the view to the houses on the other street. That's why you on maps, historical maps like these, you'll have very wide streets, usually much wider than they would have been in real life. As you see, I'm still not worrying about overlap of the houses. I can just place stuff on top of the city gate here because I'm just gonna be reordering these in a minute anyway. See, symbols, sort symbols, and map. Oh, I've got to select them first. And here we are. So let's build the connection to the castle. Let's put in the street. And then just place some houses alongside. I just love Pear's little whimsy house symbols. They are so nice. So this is the main streets basically, and everything else will be side roads and side streets. Oh, I can see I have a little wrong overlap here. That's because the wall sections are quite long and are going in a different direction than this house here, and that can make it difficult for the insertion points to be in the correct order. So I'm just gonna move this down a little bit and do a resort, and that's looking better. Because I wanted to have a little gap for a street here anyway. So I'm gonna go in, and now I'm gonna draw a dirt road or dirt street. Just gonna follow the stream down here. And connect to the street here. And now let's put in some more houses. Just along with the path. No, I wanted to mirror this. Here we go. You can mirror it in mid-placing, so you just go to the other direction. And then gonna switch to one of the straight ones. It's looking nice. Might want a little public space here along the poorer church. No cobbles here for the poor people. Default section of road, and one going down here to the public square, and then just a few more. See, I'm cycling through the different symbols with the tab key, and I've got the specific one I have in mind. So that looks quite nice and finished there. And let's put in some more side streets here. Mirror this. Okay, and now it's time to do another symbol sort again. We are. Okay, let's take a look whether we got any more questions here. Quentin asks, can you now move that house up with it still in front of the walls? If I move yes, I can move the symbol up now here. We were working on this one up here, and it would still be in front of the wall. Actually, this house as well. But if I do a reorder now, symbols and map, all of them, I'm going to put it back in the wrong section again. That's the problem. Because I'm going to be redoing the sort all symbols in map quite often, I need to have it in a location so it sorts correctly. I could, if I wanted to keep this in a correct space and make sure that it always stays on top of the wall, I could move it to a different sheet. I could say, right click the sheet and effects button, say move to sheet, select this house, but not this wall, and move this to symbols front. That's the second symbols sheet. Let's simply make sure this symbol stays in front of all the other stuff. Move this around a bit. And this way, if I do a resorting now, symbols, sort, symbols and map, all of them, do it, it will stay on top of the others. And Sue asks, do you find it easier to draw complete streets one at a time like this, or can it be done as easily by drawing all the roads first and then placing the houses? It can be done just as easily by drawing all the streets first. And I would often do that if I would do a more organized plan of a city. If I know what I'm going to do, I could lay down all the streets first. But here for this map, where I'm just making things up as I go along, I find it quite nice to just alternate between doing the streets and the houses. And having fun doing it like this. I've got the section here in the north of the town to do. Let's do a default road. Again, let's go along the city wall. And down here back to the public square. And then I'm just going to put down some houses again, filling up the empty space. Going for some not so straight houses. See, I'm actually putting these together a little bit too closely. I'm hiding all the streets and stuff. Normally would leave more spaces for the houses in a map like this. So just if the layout of the streets and such is important, so you can actually see the things and not hide them by all the other buildings. But admittedly, this looks a little bit nicer if it's nice and crowded. Sort the symbols again. Oh, that's a nice little square here. We could just put in a cross here. Perhaps another little fountain here in the north. Anything else we got? We have a gallows. Oh, we probably need a gallows somewhere in the city. Certainly going to be crime, and in the medieval city, punishment will be harsh. Okay, that just leaves the lower section here. Again, I'm going to put in some roads first. One running down here through the southeast corner and one along the lakefront, and then put in some houses. Nice idea to have the road showing through the arch here, but it doesn't quite fit very well there. Let's put that down here. can go to the diagonal houses. And then let's see whether everything sorts correctly. Oh, no, I think I just mistyped the key there. Let's try again. Sort symbols and map. All of them. Do it. Yeah, looking nice. And I do need some smaller houses, fishermen and such living here on the shore of the lake. Looks nice. And there's our city layout, basically complete. Now we do need some extra stuff around outside the city walls. Let's put in some roads first. Let's do dirt roads, just running off the edge of the map. And then we're gonna put down some houses along the roads. Roads leading away from town would naturally be the first areas where people would build new stuff if they were allowed. Quite often you might not be allowed to actually build outside the city wall. But let's assume the city is in a time of expansion and they want to build new housing for more people, so they're gonna expand beyond the borders of their old city, beyond the city walls. Symbols, sort, symbols, map. Okay, Quentin has another question. Is there a way to make the back houses smaller than the front houses? Yes, you could of course scale the houses in certain sections. This is going to be hard to do now once we've already started putting in the houses, but I'm just going to show you up here with a few ones. Say, you could say scale symbols and map. This command here. And then go by vertical sections and say I want to make these ones a scale of 0.7. Did I do this correctly? Symbols, scale, symbols, and map. What? Okay, do it. 0.7. Ah, I've got my caps lock on. That's why it's not working. There you see. And then make these two scale of 0.8. And these three a scale of 0.9. And this way you can see they are becoming smaller as you're going farther away. And you could do this over the whole map by just selecting in these vertical slices of the map and putting in the symbol references. Yeah, but I would have to go in and add more symbols to fill up the gaps if I did this now. And it's going to take a little bit too long for today. But it looks nice here for the few buildings outside the city wall. So let's do the opposite one down here to make these a little bit larger. Symbol, scale, symbols, and map. This is a bit too much. Not this one. Let's just do these two. Do it. Make this 1.1. Then I'm going to take these two and make them 1.2. And the final ones down here. Do it 1.3. You're seeing I'm not bothered about selecting other stuff but symbols. because the command scale symbols in reference will only affect the symbols themselves. It will have no effect on the map border or the road or any other stuff. So these are becoming a bit larger as we get outside of the map. But actually I don't like that much down here. It gets too large and obscures the road. So I'm just going to undo this and make these smaller again. This is better. So what else do we have? We do need perhaps a little bit of fields and stuff around the city. So for that we've got some field symbols. See, we've got a symbol one like this. Can alternate it with different colored versions. And then we've got the diagonal versions again. We can mirror these. And let's take this one. Mirror again. Done here. Here. And here. And then we can draw a bit of grassland area around these sections. Okay, done too quick. I do need to attach it to the map border to fill out the corner. One here. Here. And down here this corner. I just realized that I have a little bit of section here in the city, not really done. This corner here, and I just got the idea that this might be a nice little place for a graveyard. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna put a little bridge. For that, we're gonna rotate and scale this down here for a very small, probably wooden rickety bridge. Then I'm gonna take the cross, set it back to normal size, and then I'm just going to put down some grave markers here. So this is the graveyard of our town. Finished. So we are going to liven up the whole thing with some trees. So let's put in nice thing to do. Oops, this is the zoom command I wanted to do. To add a few trees along the side this road. Put a forest down here. Symbols here, some symbols on the edge. Then what you can do is use the bushes to create some hedges, separating the fields. Okay, perhaps I want a little bit more of grassland here along this edge, and perhaps I find that my transition area is a bit too large from the background to the grass, so a bit of too much of my green is vanishing actually. So let's take a look at the sheet effect and perhaps make this transition area a little bit smaller. That going to take a look at the terrain sheet. See, this has this edge fade inner effect that does the transition, and it's got a 20 feet transition area. So I'm gonna put this to 12 and see, yeah, makes it a bit sharper. Could even go a little bit lower and make it 10. it looks good. This way we can see a little bit more of the green here. Can also put the bushes right on the edge of the field symbols to make this a little bit nicer. Another hedge here. No, we do a similar resort. I'm actually might run into an ordering problem with the field and the bushes up here, but let's take a look. All the symbols, yes, you can see here the field now actually appears on top of all the bushes, but the lowest one. So what we're going to do, we're going to make use of our other symbol sheet again, and going to do move to sheet. All these bushes here, but not the field and not the green grass area. Do it and put them on the symbols front sheet. And this way they will always be on top of the field symbol. Good, that looks quite nice. So we've got our city here, and let's put a little bit extra illustration stuff in our map. If we click the borders symbol catalog here, you'll see that we've got some ornaments here. Typically book illustrations where stuff like this would appear in, would have edge illustrations with very elaborate drawings of weather, clouds, angels and other scenes, and we have just a little bit of that here in pair style. Let's take one of the ornaments here, and we can just make it a bit larger, and we could put it like this in here, down here at the bottom. That's how it's aligned, but I want to put it at the top. So I'm gonna let the cloud face blow its wind down here, make it a bit smaller again. Put it here on the edge. And then let's take the other side and put that in this corner here. See, you got the nice illustrative effect on the map. Then we do need a compass rose, and let's put that here in the middle of the bay. And we do have a scale bar. For the scale bar, we need to first set it back to normal. This way I know how large it is, and I know this will be 100 feet on the map. This is obviously a bit of very small. So I'm gonna scale it numerically, so I know it will show exactly 300 feet instead of 100. Place that down here and put in the value that it's meant to show for 300, and you can see the number gets added here. I can move this to a different sheet again, move to sheet and put it on the text sheet, actually dark text, so I get an outline on this, and this is a little bit more readable. So now I just need some text. I can put in dark text first. Let's put an actual N. Oh, I think actually the compass source does have letters in there. It's well, could be that this map is actually showing north to the left of the map. The classical way to show maps today is that north is up, but this is by no means historically always been the case. People used to show the directions in all kinds of different ways, so we can just assume north is to the left here in this map. To make that even a bit clearer, we can just put in N and place it here on the compass rose on the left. Of course, we could also just rotate the compass rose, but I always like to run with ideas like these. Gives a little bit of extra flair. And perhaps because the N is very close to the shore here, we can move the compass rose a little bit further to the right. Then we do need a title for the map. Already named it the City of Leda. Nice and large. And now we could also put in a few smaller labels for the city. Let's do these in white. For that we switch the current drawing color to white and go to the normal text sheet. So this will be Castle Uleda. Make this smaller. Left. See that the sheet effects make sure the white text has a dark outline, so it's also nicely readable. So this is going to be the River Ulan. I'm using the keys to align the text, C for center, M for middle, so I've got the center point of the text where I place it. Then let's put in, we can use the multi-line to break the text across several lines. Old bridge. Use the arrow keys to align the text, or to orient the text to the 4 cardinal directions. So make this a little bit smaller. This is the old bridge. Let's call the public space the King's Square. So the Fisher's Quarter, or Fisherman's Quarter. And again, do a multi-line. It's going to be here. So the merchants certainly have a merchant's quarter. Always forget to activate the multi-line first. I have to do it afterwards. And this way you can label the map. So, as a question, what is the font style in the map? The font in here is Gaudi Medieval. That's a font that I always like to use. It comes with several annual issues, and if you've been following along the Cartographer's annual, it's most likely that you have it installed on your system at some point. Otherwise, you can also find it online. It's a free TrueType font, and I think it's always a nice match for medieval or Renaissance style maps. And here's our map. Nice work for less than an hour and showing stuff. So I'm quite happy with how this turned out. And I hope you enjoyed the mapping session today. I'm gonna see you again next week. If you've got any suggestions for map making, what you want to see in the video tutorials, feel free to comment or post on the forum or on the Facebook group and let us know what you would like to see, and we can see whether we can make this possible. Otherwise, enjoy your own mapping and share your maps if you create any on any of our social platforms. We are always happy to see that. And see you around. Have a nice evening and all the best to you. Bye bye.